let's bring the meeting to order in accordance with the sunshine laws. Okay, then we'll do a roll call. Is that what we should do first?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm here, Sarah's here. I see Connor's here. Steven's here. And so is
Bob's here.
yeah, Bob's here. So Carol's been excused. We know about that, and we know Ellen has mother problems, so he excused her. So that's
We're missing Mary.
Oh, we're missing Connor's here.
We're missing Mary.
Did we excuse? Did we excuse Mary?
No, I don't know where Mary is.
I'll look at my emails a little later. So
Councilman Vessinel is not here as well.
yes, Councilman Valtinel, but he's not a member, so
That's right.
okay.
We send the sergeant at arms out.
Secretary's report for minutes.
That would normally be Ellen. I've got the minutes here. I sent them out to everybody again when I sent out the meeting notice. So these are the September minutes, since we did not have an October meeting, and I apologize to everyone for that. That was my fault. I was indisposed and could not share my login information with anybody so that they could start the meeting.
Now,
So anyway,
are they, when you start the meeting with your login information, like if I use my computer, are they gonna ask for verification? In other words, want to send an email out to you or a text message?
no. I would just need to give you my login and my password and the address to get into the meeting, but I was unable to do that
Yes. Okay.
that day.
How about you send it to me just in case something happens again?
Sure.
Send me an email.
Sure.
Okay. Anybody have anything to say about the secretary meeting? The secretary's report?
For September.
No, okay.
I propose that we accept it as written.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Okay.
I will
Minutes are
abstain,
accepted.
Chris, because I wasn't at that meeting.
Arnie is, right. Okay.
I don't know
Arnie's-
if anybody said no to it.
No one said, you're the only one who never says modifies it, Arnie.
Well, you didn't ask.
That's okay. I saw the Treasury report emailed. Do you have that?
Yes, I
Sal?
do. I do. There's been activity in the account. There's no activity in the other expenses fund, so that balance, and that's where memberships and things like that are paid out of. So that account balance still stays at $315. But in the month of October and September, which I previously reported this September, but in the month of October, there were two major reimbursements. This would be for the Millon Builders and the Brett Industry Canyon Holdings. And they totaled, one was for $6,090. The other was $15,150. And then there were some purchases of planting materials, including planting supplies and tree stakes. One of them for $799 and one for $732.60. And then there were $12,742 worth of tree purchases. So the change in the account is $14,000 going out and about $21,000 coming in, for a net balance of $263,916.58.
Can we
Okay.
get detail on those tree purchases? What's
I have
happening?
detail. There were purchases of several different varieties of trees. Hang on, I have it here. And what I don't have is the actual counts of each of the trees, but there were purchased October Glories, Northern Red Oak, White Oak, Zelkovas, Autumn Blaze Maples.
Who did that?
Linden Green Spires, and some Sugar Maples, Green Mountain.
Does
So
it
Connor,
say where these are supposed to be planted?
no, well, of course, not anything that I received. Those would be at the purchase level. So I don't know, Connor, can you speak to where those trees are going in?
I believe a good portion of them are going in down at Kingston School along the pathway that was built. That's to my knowledge. Then I know
Alright.
that they're going to go in several of the parks.
Okay. So this is
Okay.
just fall tree planting.
Can anybody consult I mean, not that they are required to, but I'm just wondering if anybody consulted the shade trees to
No,
where they're planting them and what for, and any recommendations from the shade tree committee.
I did not get any emails asking for that information.
Those tree varieties are all consistent with what we have requested and planted in the past.
yeah, but that doesn't mean they're correct. I absolutely oppose the Zelkovas. The Tober Glories are way overplanted. We talked about this 2 months ago when I talked about our mission. And Chris, you were going to send a note to Carl, just as a reminder that we are to be consulted for any plantings in the township.
Bob, you can't make
Yeah,
Carl
but
do
this
anything.
is,
He does what he wants.
that's no excuse. That's no excuse. If
We
you're
can only
putting the
make
wrong trees
recommendations. We
in, you're
can't.
not consulting us, why do we exist? I have no idea. I am just so disgusted about this. We
Yeah.
specifically talked about this, and Jim Vasanella was there, and he said, okay, that sounds good. Whatever he said, it was in the positive. And you were going to send something to Carl to remind him that our mission is that we are to be consulted before any plantings or purchases or whatever our mission statement says.
Bob, as much as I would like that to happen, they're not required to consult us.
I know they're not required, but we can put our foot down and say we would like to be consulted.
Right.
Why are they going out there on buying these trees? Who are they consulting with to put these trees in? That's the whole thing.
You know, I'm actually a little confused here, Bob, if I can jump in, because we've been complaining that the DPW hasn't been going out and replacing trees that have needed to be replaced in the parks where they have died.
That's fine.
So if that's what they're doing, then aren't they doing what we want them to be doing? And why should we
Partially.
be complaining? Especially if they're
partially.
pruning
Well,
the exact same trees that were put in that park originally, as approved originally.
Again, listen to what I said. I said our mission is that we're to be consulted. We have not been consulted. We could have chose different trees. Zelkova, we had said, we've had this discussion in past years saying it's way overplanted. It's not even a native tree as well, too.
We've talked about that, but we haven't put out a new list of trees that we want to have planted. That's been put on the
Fine.
sidelines.
Have
Because the landscape
DPW come to
guidelines
us.
being set
Have
aside.
DPW come to us as our mission statement says and consult with us. If
The
they would have
mission
given us they knew where they were going to
statement
plant these.
doesn't
They knew they were going to plant these. Why didn't they send a list to us?
Bob,
We could have
our
worked on
mission
that.
statement doesn't control what the DPW does. And we have complained that they haven't been planting trees where there are dead and dying trees. So I think that this is between a rock and a hard place. And I'm
Let 'em-
really glad they're
Fine,
planting.
let them do it. Let them do what they want. Well, they don't have to come to us for anything.
No, they don't. That's the whole point. We need to give them guidelines, formal guidelines if we want to change stuff.
And
They
here
don't
we
have to
are.
come and ask
The
permission because
guideline
they're
is
not
in our mission
required to do
statement.
that.
They are to come to us. That's a
But they're
guideline right there. We
to
could
come
help them.
to us. It's
It's
not
not,
their
it's not in our mission
for
statement.
them to
Bob.
come to us.
It's not in our mission statement?
For them to
I'll,
come to
I'll
us,
pull it
heck
up for you and
no.
read it to you again, Chris.
Okay, let's move on.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if moving on is proper. I think we should finalize this conversation. I mean, I think Bob brings up some good points. The DPW is not required to come to us. We know that. I don't recall what it says in the mission statement, but our mission statement can't say the DPW must come to us and ask. So that's that part. But on the other side, it would be nice. And I think maybe an email or a communication of some kind to the DPW would be to say, if you're going to do some kind of planting, we would appreciate it if you consult us or ask us, tell us where you're going to be planting them, and we can give you our input. Whether you listen to our input or not, that's up to you, but at least they can ask for our input. Bob brings up the Zelkova, which are not native to New Jersey. So we would
You guys-
recommend that.
Carl,
So I would just say
response-
communication between us and them to say, in the future, please let us know if you're going to do some kind of planting. We would be happy to advise you on what we think would be the appropriate trees for what place you're putting them in.
Guys, we send Carl emails all the time. At least not recently, but we used to send him emails all the time, and he never responds to them. What?
Well, we now have a council liaison, which hopefully helps us get our message through.
Our liaison's not here. I will send Carl with copying our liaison an email asking to be included, asking that we be advised, or
Here's
Yeah.
what our mission statement says.
Now, don't talk
That by
about
advising the
No, no, no,
township
no, no.
officials regarding planting, care, and maintenance of trees on township-owned lands.
but that's good, but our mission statement isn't that we can tell them what to do.
I understand, but we're here to help, and why are they going around us?
Well,
I think
we're
that's,
allowed-
I think you
Why
hit
are-
the nail on the head with that.
Why are
Bob.
they,
It's-
why are
We
they,
can help.
how are they qualified to choose these trees? Yes, you can say, okay, this is what we planted in the past. And we've said what we planted in the past is not necessarily correct. Zelkova is the number one example, and we're putting them in again.
And overplanting of one kind of tree, even though we've planted them before, it might not be good simply because we've planted them before. So if there's some kind of a bug or infestation of something that attacks that tree, then all of those trees can go away. So that's why you want to have multiple types of trees planted.
we don't know where they planted the maple trees. So there might not be, a maple tree may have died and they're replacing it. So
But how do we know?
we don't
How do we know if they're putting the trees in
They're
the right
replacing.
place, in the right environment?
Okay, can we move on now?
Go ahead.
I noticed that Stephen had went to say something. Stephen, did you want to make a comment?
Well, I was just agreeing with Bob that I think the right way to handle the DPW is not to tell them that we know more about trees than they do, kind of thing. It's really to say to them, if you consult us, the trees will be planted with better variety, better locations, and you'll have our support. If you don't consult us, we pull our liaison in and say you're just we don't agree with your process. I know that sounds weak. The key that I think Chris hit on was when you bring Mr. Vessanella in and he brings in, the township manager to talk, and this is where Connor plugs his ears. That's how you get attention. And as you said, it's not about whether they can or whether they should. It's they can do it better. So take our advice, do a better job. The town will look nicer. The trees will live longer. It'll be a better variety. It's all pluses. And I don't think we slow down the process. It's not like consulting the Shade Tree Commission adds a month to the process, right? So, quick email. Hey, what do you guys think? Is this a good mix of trees? Here's where we're going to put them. We could respond in a day or two and say, oh, pretty good, but this would be better. More of these, less of those, put them over there. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what they missed out on with this. So, but I think your point is a good one, Bob, which is not to talk to us is just a waste of time and money. The money doesn't come out of our funds at all, does it? That's just.
Yes, it
It's
does.
coming out of
It
our-
does. We just
It comes
spent
So then
out of the
$12,000.
Shade Tree Trust Fund, yeah.
Well,
How do-
I don't
how do they
think
get-
all the $12,000 wasn't for trees.
Yes.
Yes,
How
it
does-
was. That was
how-
part
how
of
do
the
they have access to-
14,000.
Well, there was
Here's the-
$14,000, I believe, and $12,000 of it was for trees, if I remember what Sarah said.
$12,700 was for trees.
How much?
Yeah. $12,742 was for
Okay,
tree.
was for
purchases.
trees. Okay.
And another 2,000
So-
about was for other things.
Right.
So my question there is, who's the steward of that account? I mean, if we control that account and we're responsible for it, then that's where you stop it. You say, I don't know who's
No,
paying
the
for your
town-
trees, but we didn't approve it.
The
We
town
don't
council
control it.
controls that account. We do not.
We have oversight. and
only
we can
advise.
question things.
And
Okay,
that's exactly
supposedly
what we're
have
doing now.
oversight.
We're questioning.
So there you go. So I didn't realize that part. So now you say to the council or whoever, we did not approve this purchase.
We were not, I wouldn't say we did not approve it. We were not consulted about it.
That's
We were not
correct,
consulted,
Chris.
and we don't
Yes.
necessarily, without more information, we can't say we agree with it either, right? We're saying, we don't know why you bought these. We don't know where they're going. We don't understand the mix. We weren't consulted before you used shade tree funds. And
Okay.
that's going to land like a lead balloon, I think. That's not a pleasant email to receive.
Okay. So we'll move on. Tree plantings and tree maintenance. Connor, can you tell us what parks they were planted in? Do you know?
Nothing has been planted yet. They haven't even showed up as far as I know.
Oh, the tree, he just sent a purchase order in. Okay.
There's got to be a list someplace. What are the designated parks and places they're going into?
Can you,
Like I said, as far as I know some of them are going down into Kingston School.
is that which school is that?
That's the
Kingston?
Huyen school in Kingston.
Okay, they're gonna plant some there.
Where we talked about
Some
doing
might
an
be
Arbor
going
Day
into Fleming
planting.
Preserve. I think a couple are going into Castleton.
Okay.
Maybe Rutgers Heights.
Okay. Now, down here, we had a request that on Margaret Drive that they're waiting for trees to be replaced.
Is that
Are
near
they
that
going-
drainage basin that we heard from the public about?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just curious if any trees are going in there.
Chris, what would you say is the latest for planting would be?
What?
You plant throughout the winter, or what's the?
Yeah,
what
you
is
can
the-
plant trees throughout the winter.
Yes,
It's-
okay.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's best to plant them in the fall because they have a chance to grow, fine. They will grow roots, not substantially, but they will grow little fine roots that they can, so they can survive maybe possible a light drought. But yes. I
But
would-
that would be another thing when, if the DPW was to consult with us, just ask us, would be to say, planting season would be best if it was done no later than, November 1st or something for these reasons or for this reason.
No, I would
you know-
say between,
Well, I'm throwing out a date there, whatever the date is. But what you've just said is that the later you get, if you're doing it, they haven't even received the trees yet. So these are probably going to be planted sometime in December, it sounds like, if then.
that's fine.
And but the roots won't be taking. The point I'm making is that I believe what you're saying is if they're planted prior to a certain time, temperature, or whatever you want to, however you want to put it, they will take a little bit better root.
I would say you plant it between between August 30th, the last day in August, or September 1st to about March 30th is the best time to plant trees. Once it gets past March, they don't have much time to grow, and then the heat comes and dries them out, and you have to water them. Well, you have to water them anyway for the first year. So, okay, so as far as you know, Connor, none of these trees are going on Margaret Drive. Thank you. Okay, so
Chris, did you jump right into the main old business? Because you didn't open the meeting to the public.
oh no, oh I did not. Okay,
We do have someone there. Hold on.
you're right. Okay, may I have somebody suggest we go into the public meeting?
We have public. I suggest we open it to the public.
Okay, who seconded it?
I'll second that.
Stephen did.
Okay, so all in favor?
I.
Aye.
I apologize for forgetting to open the meeting to the public.
Okay. So I am unmuting. Let's see, unmuting the person in the public. Hello. Would you like to speak?
Oh, hi, Sarah. This is Jim
Oh, Jim.
Vasanella.
Okay.
Hi.
Yes. I cannot promote you to panelist, so we'll just leave.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so-
had a real struggle getting through, so I just went
Okay.
the only way I was able to.
Okay, I'll just leave you open then, so that you'll be part of the meeting.
Okay.
So.
Jim, did you hear of any of our discussion about communication?
Some of it.
So he heard Jim. Well, we had just
I've been
Bob.
I would.
just-
The only question I had. Well, one question. Those trees were going in. The ones that you mentioned were the ones that were not for Margaret Drive, but for the other places that were mentioned. They're the ones that are being planted now, between now and December.
Yes,
Is that the idea?
that is the idea.
Okay. So there's some clarity on the. As I was listening, but I wasn't. So there's some clarity on where at least that round of trees are going, the
Well,
different
that-
places.
That Jim, and we would like to be consulted before he buys trees about what trees he's going to buy, so we can like say, well, we have a lot of those. Maybe we should choose another tree, or the Zelkovas are not a good tree to plant. It's not a native tree. It's a hybrid, and it doesn't support any insect life or anything
It's
else.
a non-native.
They don't support insect life.
Now these are trees going in the parks.
Yes. So
What is the factor that they use to decide?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, we don't know. We're trying to explore that.
I
They
mean,
obviously
if
have
they-
And
a
I guess
list.
who
They
is
have
it that
a-
actually is it? I'm assuming it's part of a what do you call it? A bid, a part of a.
No, it's not part of a bid. I don't know who decided what trees to buy.
Oh, is this out of the trust fund?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is.
Yes,
one of our
we are
funds.
totally
Oh,
in
so
the
then
dark.
if there's state contract, if there's approved vendors, then they probably just call in or send over a purchase order for whichever ones.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
And I
not
say
the
they,
question.
I'm assuming it's Carl, but I wouldn't know for sure.
Jim, the
Who-
thing is that it's $12,000 worth of trees that the DPW is going to plant somewhere in some parks somewhere. We don't know the final destination, but nobody. It would have been nice if DPW came to us, and not required to, but if they came to us and said, "We're looking to plant X amount of trees in these places. Do you have any suggestions as to what type of trees and where they
And they
should,
were already
you know?"
purchased. I don't remember them being purchased.
No, we're talking
Well,
about
we just-
before they purchase them, before they put in a purchase order or go through the bid process.
Yeah, I mean,
You've got
I
people
thought
on
that
this-
was part of the process that you, when it came to trees, unless sometimes it comes in through a weird angle, maybe through a grant or something. But if this came in, this is being purchased through the trust.
Yes.
Yes.
With the tree shade funds.
So that if it's a shade tree trust, I just assumed then that was part of what you guys did. Now, in the past, say there was a handful of trees to be parceled out like these are that are probably needed, because there are some places I could think that they'd be putting them that we've had renovations recently that you need trees to fill in. But is this normally, when there's this kind of activity, something that they ask your recommendations on?
I don't remember ever being asked for recommendations. I know in the past we used to purchase a bunch of trees and sell them to the public, and whenever the public didn't buy, the DPW would plant them in various locations.
I would like to make an exception to that, please, and that is that when we did the planting, when DPW was doing the plantings at Middlebush Park,
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
after that to Castleton and to Inman Park and to
Inman.
what's the other one?
Mhm.
Naaman Williams Park.
Yep.
They had discussed tree varieties, tree species, and
Yes, they did.
where to place them, and we did have input for those. If these are replacements for trees that died in those parks, I have no problem with them replacing the trees that were in there originally. We have since
That was
those
the other
trees
thing I was
went
going to
in.
ask about.
Yeah.
If that was if they were
And we don't know. We don't know what
conditions or
these trees are being used for.
Some of
Mhm.
some of them are for the Kingston School, the green, and I don't know
Oh.
what where they're planting anything else, but I know that we've gotten requests for an Arbor Day at that Kingston School, and we were going to do it,
Oh.
and we were going to do it in 2000, but as everybody knows, COVID killed everything. So we're going to plant them this Arbor Day, but I don't know. We have to talk to the lady. Who has this lady, Mrs. Pavlik? Email?
What about it?
Arnie, you have her email address? I think you sent it to me.
Yeah, she sent the email to me and asked me about doing something this Arbor Day since we weren't able to do it in 2020, and I said I would bring it up to Shade Tree, and hopefully we could get that done, have a Arbor Day celebration there and plant some trees there. But that's it's on the agenda for tonight, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So when we get there, we'll discuss it. Okay. Well. So.
Jim, this is Bob Hudak. This is my concern.
Hi,
that
Bob.
we haven't been consulted. Okay, and yes, if they put the same trees in that were there before, they may not be the correct trees. No one has done a study as to why the trees are being replaced and why they died. If we keep putting the same trees in and they die, we're just wasting a lot of money. We're wasting labor. As we study more and more, and we know what type of trees to put in, we could help DPW plant, tell them which trees should go in and which not should go in. And I'm disappointed to
It
hear
sounds
that,
like there's not a
well, if they were planted in the past, let's put the same ones in. No, absolutely not. Nobody does that.
It sounds like there's not a policy that's clear, because it's like that one example where they did reach out and there was some exchange dialogue. So there really should be a clear policy to where it goes through in some capacity, and even if it's a replacement because of something where it wasn't that the tree was the wrong tree, but just I don't know what could happen with a tree that you just have to replace it. But but even then you would know and be able to take a look at the situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm
Suggested, though,
assuming
about
I don't know it, but I'm assuming this is under PW. So Carl or whoever he assigns is the one who chooses.
Right.
Jim,
And
completely
how do you
blindsided.
suggest that we get this policy implemented? What steps?
Yeah,
do you
no, I
suggest we take?
would inquire about the, is there a policy, or can you guys work together and come up with one? just so there's a good exchange, smooth exchange of information, even if for some reason there may not always be an agreement or an issue with a recommendation, but just the idea that there's a template that they get blindsided. Again, there may be circumstances where it had to be what it was, but it is nice to be part of to know what's going on.
Yeah, I know that on open space, they always ask us for recommendations. They don't always do what we recommend, but they do ask us for recommendations. And I would like to see that, to happen for Shade Tree. They don't have,
Oh, no, well, no, I know. And there's things even sometimes I'm on the land use committee, which really works not directly, but very closely for not being directly connected to the open space advice. And yeah, I know there's ways for the information to go back and forth, and it doesn't always have much relevance. I shouldn't say. So occasionally, it doesn't have much relevance, but it's still part of the process, and it's good. It's good to be that way.
So,
well, like I said, I would just
obviously,
I would inquire about it.
okay.
Using this, I guess, situation as an example.
So I'm going to send Carl an email asking him.
Well, I probably would work through Bob though too, I guess, or I don't know exactly who you should.
Well, okay.
I mean, I work through Bob, but a lot of times it's working with Carl simultaneously. But I'm not sure the exact.
So, our liaison is Connor. Connor.
Yeah, so maybe Connor, Bob, and I'm sorry, Carl.
Carl. So I'll send an email to all three. And you.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't know exactly, but I'm thinking at least then everything's kind of covered, so there's no confusion or anybody not in the loop. And then I'm not sure. I'm sure Bob and I'm sure they'll confer. And I'm curious. I mean, it's not something that we've come across. I mean, occasionally there's miscommunication on some other committees that. It's like an advisory, but it sounds like here there really just needs to be a better understanding of the policy.
Usually they've
or procedure. I mean, not to be too formal. I'm sorry, but the procedure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Usually they inform us when they're going to go purchase trees beforehand.
Oh, okay.
Usually, but
But this was $12,000 worth of trees that they did not. I think since everybody on Shade Tree, as far as my understanding is, that we are appointed by Bob Warnlocker, that's who the email would go to, and copy Connor, Jim, and Carl.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always good to go to Bob. That always works. Especially, Shade Tree, especially because he does get involved in the selection.
Okay. So what I'll do, Arnie, is I'll write an email, send it to you for editing, and then you can send it back to me.
Excuse me.
Okay?
That's fine with me.
Okay. So, Connor, is there any report on recent maintenance on William Inman Park or Middlebush Park on any trees or any maintenance on trees in those parks?
Nothing.
Okay. So, public information. I saw that Sarah had wrote a nice article that went into the paper, which is I thank her for.
Yeah, we've also got, I just got a notice that that Monday is the deadline. Monday the 22nd is the deadline for the next issue of the Franklin Times. I sent out a quick ask to everyone, at least I thought I did, asking you guys if you had any suggestions for the next article. And it would be great if somebody else opted to write it. I'm happy to let anybody else do it. I don't have to be a writer.
Is this meeting being recorded?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're still in public session. Do we want to come out of public session?
Oh,
No,
sorry.
we're not supposed to. Why would we come out of public session?
Well, because there was no public.
There's no public.
Okay.
I thought we had public, but it was Jim. It's council.
Okay. So
Sorry.
somebody make a motion to come out of public.
I'll make a motion to come out of public session.
I'll
Second.
second.
All
Sarah,
in favor?
aye.
I,
Okay, we're out of public session. We've gone through tree plantings. Public information. Like I said, I got an email from the lady at Margaret Drive wanting trees to be replaced that they removed. There was ash trees. They had planted a bunch of ash trees there, and when they built it, the developer planted ash trees, and now they've died. And Township went in and we took the stumps and everything out. But I don't know, she sent Carl an email asking
okay.
if he knew when the trees were going to be planted again.
Where are we on the agenda? Are we in public information?
Yes.
Okay, I need to jump back to Hamilton Street for a minute, please. Just a brief update.
Go right ahead.
Okay. I've been in touch with Carl Wright several times. We bumped into each other out in the public, and he's invited me to do a presentation on the Hamilton Street that you all saw back in September.
I'm sorry, Bob, who did you say you've been talking with?
Councilman Carl Wright.
Thank you.
He's the fourth ward, the fourth and the fifth ward,
Okay.
is where it's actually
where
Hamilton
Hamilton's-
Business District, it's called.
Right.
He's also on the redevelopment agency, but that's kind of the other area behind that, but the Hamilton Business District. But yeah, no, that's great. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's great.
And I believe on September 13th, I sent to Councilman Wright, Councilman Vasanella,
Yeah.
my presentation to certainly keep Jim in the loop on conversation I've had outside of and Chris, I copied, on outside of Shade Tree. I thought I was invited twice, but the meeting apparently never happened. I don't know what happened with the Hamilton Street development, whatever that's called there. I was invited to present, but I haven't received official notification yet. Councilman Wright seemed very interested in the presentation. I'm hoping that I'll have a chance to go ahead and Shade Tree Commission's behalf and just give them the slideshow that we all saw. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that's going to go forward.
Did he say which meeting?
No,
Carl?
I've asked him a couple times when the next meeting's
Okay,
coming
he
up.
may
and
have just
haven't heard
forgot, or
anything.
maybe, yeah, Vince Dominic does the agenda with the chair.
Yes,
But,
right.
like Vince Dominic would probably throw that on the request. When I talk to Carl, next time I see him, I remember the email and I remember I haven't talked to him about it, but I remember it and what you're talking about and that it's moving along. I just figured it would show up when you guys planned it. So I'll ask Carl or remind him that you want to get on. Would you want to do it at the December meeting if possible?
Absolutely. First opportunity.
Okay. I think what
December
happened
meeting?
is they didn't have one. I think they didn't have a meeting 1 month. I forget if it was September, October. I forget. But
Okay.
maybe that was the meeting that he thought they would do it and whatever.
Okay.
But send an email, and then when I'll talk to him, and then when next time I see him, I'll remind him.
Bob, what was your presentation going to be on?
It was on Hamilton Street. That was
About recommendations of plantings for Hamilton Street, or?
it was the conditions. It was a PowerPoint presentation. I'm sorry. I thought you were at the meeting. It was on the conditions and then some recommendations at the end of the PowerPoint on there.
Recommendations of what trees to plant in Hamilton Street?
Recommendations as to maintenance. This goes back to when we were first consulted.
Okay.
Worked with the consultants on the type of trees that go in, and one of the things we recommended had said to have a maintenance program, because now there is a question. I think Connor, we talked about this 2 meetings ago. I wasn't sure the DPW even was going to be involved in these maintenance of these trees, and a lot of trees are in very poor condition.
Mm-hmm.
In any event, there's been no maintenance. You can see that nothing has been done on these things. It appears that way anyway from when they were first planted. So they're in a limbo. So the question was going to be after presentation and recommendations to keep the viability of these trees going. What are they going to do?
Well, you can come back and tell us what they recommended to you.
Yes. Chris,
Okay.
one last thing here. Chris, I also sent you at your request a copy of one of the slides on the sign that was nailed to a tree. You're going to pursue that with the township. Have you had any response?
No, I totally forgot about that. To be honest with you.
Okay, I believe my email was September 13. If you need it again, let me know.
September 13th. Okay.
Yep,
I will
that's
look
it.
for
Thank you.
it. Do you know it's on Hamilton Street?
Yep.
Okay. We'll see if it's still there. I'll drive by and see if it's still there before I ask Public Works about it. Okay. So now we're gonna skip all those other parks and go down to public inquiry. As I said, a resident from Margaret Drive has sent an email to Carl asking him to replant the trees that had died. I have not heard any more information from Carl or from the lady. I have the email, but I forget her name. So that's where we stand on that.
When did you ask him?
No, she sent him a letter. I'll have to go back into my emails. I don't think I can do that right now.
Oh, you didn't send something to Carl.
No, I did not send something to Carl. The lady on Margaret Drive sent the email. She copied me on it just to keep me in the loop. And I'm keeping you guys in the loop. Okay. Are there any website updates that we want to put on the website? Okay. We will move on. We had a nice article about ash borers. Spotted lanternflies have laid their eggs. If anybody sees any egg masses, please scrape them off your tree.
Yeah, I saw a whole bunch today on the tree at Hageman Farm, the red maple that we planted several years ago for Arbor Day. I was walking
Okay.
around out there today, and the tree had been covered in spotted lanternflies this fall. And I went out deliberately looking for the eggs on that tree, and on the underside of the branches, they're just coated in the eggs masses. They're just this very soft gray. You have to look hard or you don't even see them. And they're slightly ridged, and they're going to be going away very soon, over the weekend if I'm lucky. But I know I've got until springtime before they'll hatch, but they're
Okay.
start looking for
If you
them.
want help, let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. The Franklin Times, December 22nd is the deadline. If
Yes.
somebody would like to do an article.
No, not December, November 22nd, Monday. They didn't give us hardly any notice at all. So I was just wondering if anybody has some ideas and maybe already written article.
I don't have anything written, but I was thinking
Mhm.
about this the other day. Pruning, wintertime is usually a good time for pruning.
It's
To
true.
reduce obviously damaged limbs, reduce snow load as well too.
Anything you could do to encourage people. There's so much overgrowth
Yeah.
throughout the town. You're talking about pruning dead stuff or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an
one
excellent
just in
time of year
general.
when there's no leaves. I mean, I do it all the time in mine. I'm continue being
No, I know for
very
people, whether
critical.
it's for gutters, yeah. I mean, for people's own sake, for their gutters, or if it's
There
near
you
stuff
go.
near the road.
Something as simple as
I'm-
that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Don't we
But,
have some
and then,
kind of a flyer on our website, like a one-page flyer about pruning? I thought I recall
Yes, there
seeing
is.
something that
Maybe
we
we could
handed
just,
out.
maybe
So
we could
my,
just
but
print
I
that
would
out
say
and
if we
send it to you.
have that, can we put that as our article on the, in the newspaper?
I was thinking the same thing, Arnie. I think that we write a little, write up a little bit, and we send them that article.
I'm looking at our site now. Under Shade Tree Commission, advice and general information.
Yes.
How to prune is the second article under resources. So how to prune young shade trees. It's from the Tree
okay.
City USA Bulletin.
Excellent.
It's a nice little quick one
I was thinking
pager.
of that. Yeah, that would be something that's already written that we could just quote and just give it to them.
Yes.
is there
Okay.
anything in there about tree branches that, are hanging over the roadway, which, if they're healthy, I guess, is strong. It doesn't matter, but a lot of them that are, dead or dying will come down with ice and
DPW.
snow.
Yeah,
DPW.
this piece is very.
No, I mean, I don't
instructive.
have the article. I'm not on the screen right now. I apologize. But
No.
the article you're talking about, can
Just
that
saying the
include
article
anything?
doesn't- Yeah, no, it doesn't say.
It doesn't say
what
anything about.
to prune, but that's something we could put in an introduction to the article.
Okay.
I have an idea, maybe definitely not to publish right now. And I don't even know if I have a solution, but a couple of years ago we had that really big snowstorm where the snow came down so hard and so fast that a lot of trees just lost limbs. I know I have a magnolia tree in my backyard and it just started losing limbs. And I went out there and it just started banging on the branches to unload the snow because it was just coming down. It was just packing on there. It was going to break my whole tree. So I'm not even sure if there's I'm just thinking of prevention.
That's a good
I don't
idea.
even know if there is a solution. But if we could think about it over time, and maybe come up with some suggestions. I like to read about stuff and I haven't even seen anything, but I mean, that was a big problem. And I know that the township spent a lot of money, cleaning up all the debris. They actually, Public Works went out and people put out all the branches and I pick up free firewood in the side of the road. And I felt like I was driving down the lanes of a supermarket with free goods on both sides piled up high, and I get a lot of firewood from that. So thanks Connor and company for all that work, but just that's a real situation. I don't know if there is prevention, but if there is, that could be valuable as an article.
Maybe we can
Well,
do that.
maybe an
for
article
future
we could
articles.
do would be instead of an article on any one specific topic, but maybe to do how to take care of your trees in the wintertime. And then I could put in look for spotted lanternfly egg cases. And then go to this article to figure out how to take them off. Spot pruning, especially on branches covering road signs or this or that, list a couple of things to look out for, and look at this article for how to prune your trees, and then what to do in a snow event to save your trees, about, road salt splashing on your trees or knocking the extra snow off the branches. That works for
Ice
bushes
loads
too.
too. Ice storms.
loads,
They're the
yeah.
worst.
So maybe some
I
tips
mean,
like
I
that.
guess if
just
they
to-
have, and part of pruning is getting rid of dead wood, and that's
Mhm.
the first stuff that will go in a snowstorm because it's weak,
Right.
right? So,
Right.
so there's that could be one of the reasons listed for getting rid of the dead wood. I mean, it's dangerous.
Yeah. Okay. So any other ideas of things to do for trees in the wintertime? Pruning, egg cases. If it's particularly dry, we want people to water their trees, especially if they've been planted in the last 3 years.
Usually don't
else?
have to worry about that in the wintertime.
Well, if it's really dry, you do.
Before it goes into winter time, that's the time to soak them really hard. And then, yes, make sure you have an adequate amount of mulch around them. That'll help with the transpiration.
Do you know when this prints? The 22nd's the deadline. Do you know when it comes out?
I don't.
It's usually
Only because this is all great. I wish we knew earlier, or the committee knew earlier. I'm wondering if you want to find out when it comes out, just so if there's things that are relevant to really doing in the fall, and this doesn't come out till January, maybe don't bother to include it, and just make note and try get it in, like,
Well,
I guess,
it's
like
still a
next
winter
summer's
time.
article.
Yeah. Is there a way we can find out deadlines?
Absolutely. I mean, I would just there used to be someone, I can't think, I don't know if they filled the position. I know it had been vacant, but the person who I think assisted in preparing it. But I would just ask Bob, honestly. I mean, he's going to know because he's the one who coordinates that. But I don't recall who right now is in charge of newsletter. But I asked them, because there is a lead time. I mean, I don't know. It could be just coming out in a couple of weeks, and then. But if it's not coming out, like I say, for some reason,
usually
till
doesn't come out till
January or February. Sorry.
It doesn't come out till January. They're usually like a month lead.
Used to come out December 1. That was their target date years ago.
Well, that's when
Wow, that would be great. Maybe they have it all set and it will get out.
No.
I don't know.
No, that
Way too
won't
early.
But
happen
anyway,
fast.
That would be very I'd be very surprised because their process is to set it up and then send it back to us for review, and it's usually a month after we send it to them.
Yeah, so in years past, December 1 approximately was the published date, and I believe we had to submit things by October 15.
yeah, there's usually
or
6
at the
weeks
end.
or so,
Yeah,
6 or 8
Yeah.
weeks.
all right.
So
Well,
that-
we used to
But
have
anyway,
4
just
of these a year. Now there's just 3 a year, so the dates have changed.
Well, yeah, we went from 4 papers to 3 papers, so the dates have changed.
yeah, there's nothing in their call for articles that says when it will actually be coming out.
Is that what it is
Okay.
now, 3 times a year?
Yes.
Okay.
It could
So
go
what
back
to
to
do-
4.
Yeah, it
We're up
used
to
to be
new
quarterly.
business. Can I go to new business now?
Just the only thing is this over the next couple of days. Well, does anybody want to take on this article? Anybody just chomping at the bit to write? Come on. I know y'all want to. You want to do it. You do. You want to see your name in print, even though it won't be on the article.
You say we have something already on site, right? On our site?
No,
My
we have
suggestion
one
was
article on the
just to
trees.
put the that 1-page document on there. Doesn't necessarily need an introduction. If nobody wants to write anything, you can just
No, I wouldn't do that because it doesn't tell you enough. It didn't discuss the other points we just said, and
well, my point was that if nobody wants to write something.
yeah.
Well, since I brought it up, I'll take a crack at it. How's that? I'll try to do my best to get there.
When does
Guilty
it have
by-
to be?
Guilty
Great.
by
does it have to be
association.
done?
Monday, the 22nd
Monday?
of
November.
22nd of November is the deadline. You have to have the article done by.
Ma- Mary, you have some ideas?
Bob, yeah, we can collaborate. Just
Okay.
email over the weekend.
All right.
I'll be at my computer time to time. I can take a look and we can bounce
All
back and forth. We just have to make sure that whatever we come up with, the final does get to
Yeah.
Sarah, I guess.
Yes,
This
Send it to
is
you.
by the close of the 22nd, Sarah?
correct.
Okay.
So
All
we
right,
should get it to Sarah, like what, 24 hours before?
No, you can send it to me that day.
22nd? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be talking during the weekend, my friend.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you, guys.
Bob, you still have to come over and dig up trees in my yard.
Oh, I have sassafras for you. Do you want some sassafras?
Oh God, no, I don't think so. They're gonna take over. Yeah,
Right.
maybe. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well,
Yes, I
well,
do, actually.
we have some stuff to exchange.
Okay.
Okay, we'll
talk.
talk.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Oh.
So we're going to move on to your Bob, your Middle Bush Park presentation.
Okay, I'm having technical difficulties, and instead of winging it, I'll reserve comments and have it ready for January.
Okay.
This was, I went out and walked around in September during the height of the infestation, lanternfly. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That was quite an eye-opening. It's kind of scary too. But yeah, so leaves are on the trees, but there's some a lot of maintenance items and things to talk about. I will have comments and complete presentation in January. Sorry for the delay.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. So we're on to Arbor Day. Kingston Greens, which is a open space building that the Kingston School was nice enough to rehab the building for this, so they could hold school there. They want to do an Arbor Day. I make a motion that we do Arbor Day on a Friday at the school. I'm retired. I can be there.
I'll second that motion. We just need to coordinate with the school.
Yes, so we'll coordinate with the school. Sounds like a plan. Okay, everybody got a meeting scheduled for next year?
You want to vote on that, Chris? On that
Yeah,
motion?
everybody, is there any changes to it? Did
We
I
want
make
to
a
talk
mistake?
about what kind of trees, or do we want to trade? Do we want to go out there first and check out the site? What do you want to do?
We'll go out there and check out the site. We'll contact the lady and see what she has to do.
That would be Kathy Pavlik.
Yes, Mrs. Pavlik. Okay. So, Arnie, can you send her an email, please, saying that we'd like to have a little meeting?
Sure. When would you like to have this meeting?
Well, I leave Tuesday to go back and won't return until the following Tuesday from Pennsylvania. So, anytime in December.
Try for the first week in December.
Yes.
You want to meet at the school?
Yes, we should meet at the school. Now, from what I understand, Connor, you're going to be planting some trees at the Kingston School soon?
I think so. Like I said, I'm not 100%. I know, but I do know we're doing plantings down there.
Okay.
It would be interesting to know where they're planting, because are they going to be planting something where we had planned on planting for Arbor Day 2 years ago?
Well, Arnie, when we go out there, I'll bring a stake and we'll put a stake in the ground and tell them don't plant a tree here. We want,
Okay.
you know.
Well, I will communicate with Ms. Pavlik, but we still need to vote on this to make it official.
Is
Yeah.
Kingston Greens the same thing as the Kingston School?
Yes.
It is. Okay. How did how did it come about that DPW was going to put trees in there? Who triggered that? Connor, do you know? Was that a request from them?
I know we took. Well, that's one of our parks. We
It is an
maintain
open
that.
space. It is they're on open space land.
Okay, so it's actually the park. There's a
Yeah.
park next to the school,
Yeah.
correct?
And that was in discussion back in 2020 when we had originally wanted to work with them on an Arbor Day event.
Right.
The DPW was going to go down there and plant trees. They were taking out some dead ones and cleaning it up, and then we were going to have the ceremonial tree planting with the school for Arbor Day, and then DPW is going to plant the rest of the area. So that's been on the books for a while.
I guess my bigger question is, what is the scope on this? You know, how many trees are they in the park? Obviously there are, and then there's on the school grounds proper. What do they want done? Do they want to shade a playground area? area in other areas as well too. Just
We'll find
looking
that
to see how big the
information.
project is.
Bob, when we go down there and talk to Kathy, we'll get that information.
Yeah, it'd be very important to see what they're talking about as far as the scope
Okay.
goes. I saw the correspondence that Arnie had or what he relayed, so I was just wondering if that was the whole thing. Thank you.
Yes. So back to the meeting schedules. Everybody reviewed my meeting?
Back to voting on
Chris,
this, Chris.
Chris, we need to vote on doing this on Arbor Day
Okay.
next year.
I didn't know we needed to vote on it.
You brought it up as a first and second motion, so we have to.
Okay, yes, let's vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so it passes. I was bringing up the meeting as a voting thing. Okay, everybody's reviewed the meetings. Are there any objections to the dates or days that we have scheduled?
This is the 2022 schedule for our meetings.
Yes.
I guess you looked at the schedule, what days they fall on, no interference with holidays or anything.
We've never had an interference with the holiday except for Thanksgiving. So we hold that, like today, we held it a week early. Same thing as last year.
I don't have the, I can't, I looked at it earlier actually, but the, whatever would be around Easter time doesn't interfere with Easter or Passover.
I don't
Easter's
think
a
so.
Sunday.
Easter,
It may be 2 weeks off. I'm sorry. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I was thinking of, because I know sometimes we forget with council, we're making one of our council committees that we work on meeting, and then we forget and have to reschedule because we do them in a year in advance too. But
That's what I was
anyway,
asking, especially the floating holidays,
yeah,
I know there's only a couple, but they always seem to happen.
Yeah.
The clerk, we have, I think, one of the best clerks in the state, but something like that will get by once in a while and be like, oh, I forgot to look. But before, I had one thing before you close, but go ahead. I'm
Yes.
sorry, didn't mean to
Go ahead.
interrupt. You have to vote on this.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept it as Chris distributed it to us.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now, Sarah, I have to send this to Anne Marie.
Yes, and remember to request the large meeting room at the same time. Just in case. We can,
Yes.
just in case.
Yeah, any
I will.
feeling on that as to when we may do it in person again?
Jim, you got
I
any?
would think you should be ready for January. I'm sorry, I didn't know if you asked me.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, it
asking
was a
you. You're the only one
question
that
in
would
general.
know.
I would be ready for January. I'm not promising, but I would definitely be
Okay.
ready.
Okay, then I will ask for the large meeting room.
Yeah, what about the council chambers? I mean, I don't know what kind of protocols or policies there may be if indeed it does happen in January, but in general, if that's not taken, that always has the largest amount of area that you can really spread out in.
Well, we've been using the large meeting room for years,
Yeah.
and we usually don't get much public attention.
I think the point that Jim is making is because of COVID, we would want to spread out as much as possible. And that gives us more, shall I say, spreadability, if we were in council chambers.
Oh yeah, I don't necessarily think you're going to get a bunch of people. Actually, probably be pretty cool if you did get some, maybe more people started coming concerning tree stuff. But anyway, I just meant to spread out. Space was never an issue.
Okay, so
And I don't even know what the town's going to do if there's be any specific. I mean, we definitely haven't got that far. But let's just say that there is an option. I just thought that people might be more comfortable.
okay.
Chris,
I
the
will
other committees
request-
that we've been on, open space and environmental, they're all doing the same thing. You're just asking to reserve the room or rooms for us in case, we get a break and we can start meeting in public. So we want to have a head start on that.
I mean, you could still have it private. I mean, or you know, there's some element of privacy because you can close those doors on the main, on the main council chambers.
Okay, then
You usually meet in the little, not the little one, but it's
long
actually the
range-
big conference room, but the one where open space meets, right?
yes.
Yeah. Whatever, whatever you guys want to do. I'm not a voting
Well,
member. I'm just
request-
suggesting if you want, if you
everybody-
want.
Is everybody in favor of using council chambers?
Yeah.
If it's available, yes.
Of course, yes.
Okay, then I will request council chambers when available. And if it's not
And when not available,
please-
the large conference room.
yes.
Yeah. And when I say council chambers, really whatever works, usually like, and this wasn't because of COVID, but just the Hamilton board, like the big table that's there, you know, that giant table. God, it feels like I haven't been there in a while, but, you know, or whatever setup you want. But if it's not being used, there's plenty of options with the room.
Okay, folks. Do I have a motion to end the meeting?
Oh, I had one,
Okay,
one
go ahead, Jim.
We have second
announcement.
opening.
I don't
we?
know of announcement question. I don't know if she reached out to you. The clerk's very good with this, although everything is a little, you know, we just came off the election, so I know they're really busy. She sends us information on who is up for reappointment, and then usually they reach out and confirm that the person wants to be reappointed. So I guess my question is, and because what happens is when council reviews it, often they'll ask the council member that's, you know, whether a liaison or a member of the group. So I'm assuming anybody up for reappointment wants to continue.
Yes, I was asked if I wanted to continue to be a member. And Steve, you were too, right?
I was, yes.
Did you respond positively, I hope?
I did. I said only if you stay.
And I apologize. She may have sent, I don't think she sent it as of today, but this is right about the time we get it. You know, at the end of November, beginning of December, because then council has time to mull over it, so we're all prepared for January. And then, you know, if there's spots, we try to fill them if people don't want them. But then I'm fine with that. So then I will just, you know, of course, I'm only one person, but I'll suggest that same people, and it will be there if you told the clerk then, because we get that report. So.
Yeah, Jim, Bob usually appoints us. The Shade Tree Commission is appointed.
Oh,
by-
you know what? You know what? Here I am. I feel stupid. This is the only one I've ever had like that. But you're absolutely right. I was trying to remember to make sure because you know, it's a big thing. We probably make 200 or 300 appointments by the time we get done with everything. I apologize. Okay, well then you let him know.
Well, we let the clerk know. She'll let him know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there won't be any issue. If I hear there's any issue, I'll let you guys know. Thank you.
Yeah, my re-up was last year, and I was threatened, so I'm here under duress.
I thought that was
Okay.
our duress, Bob.
Oh, and Chris, just one quick question. Is it too soon to think about whether we're going to do a tree sale in the spring? I mean, I know we didn't do one
It's-
because of
it's-
COVID and everything.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Steve, our process is that we make a decision and choose trees actually by September because we are competing
Wow.
against other factors or factions, let's say, or other customers, let's say, from where we get our trees. So yeah, this stuff is put in way in advance.
Yes.
So
wow.
maybe 22 we'll decide to go for 23. How's that?
That's what we'll have to do. We'll put Steve in charge. You can clue him in on how difficult it is to get the trees.
What was that tree, Bob, that we're not supposed to buy? We're going to get a lot of those.
DPW has a whole bunch of them. Talk to them.
Exactly.
Zombie-
Don't even-
Start with
They're
the
digging holes.
DPW.
Okay. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Mary, I guess we'll put you down as present. You were just
Yes.
late, and I didn't know you had entered it. Okay.
Ooh, excuse me. No
I'm
dendrology?
sorry, I'm trying to say something.
Okay.
Yeah, I was sitting, I just got back home and I was sitting, I logged on to work thinking I should do something. And then like all my meeting reminders came up and thank goodness I actually put down Shade Tree Commission on my work schedule. So I'm like, oh, that's right. I have to do that. So thank goodness for
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
calendars.
I just have a comment on dendrology, just something I've been doing the last couple years. I have a dogwood in the back, and one year, I believe we had heavy snow or heavy ice storm, and it just about peeled off one side of the tree. So I've been very diligent every year of walking around and looking at my trees on my property as to the strength. Um, of the branches out there. And anything that looks a little too far out there, I cut back. Maybe my trees look a little more compact than usual, but when I had a nice size dogwood tree that got beat up like that, it was just a horror. And I didn't think it would ever come back, but it did. So word to the wise, if you have trees, get out there and really take a look at them because an ice storm could really cause havoc on a nice tree that you've taken so many years to nurture.
Especially a birch tree, if anybody has them.
Yeah, they'll go
Really?
too.
Well, if you
Yeah.
have a white birch tree, get rid of it and get a gray birch. They're better suited for this habitat. White birches need a colder habitat.
River birch, if you
Yeah, river
have
birch.
a damper area, they'll be less susceptible to the uh, birch borer. Is that what it is?
I'm not sure, Bob.
Yeah, yeah. The native, a lot of the native birches get beat up. You'll see them become a mature tree about 15, 20 feet, and then the tops will die off.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. Like my river birch is like huge and it wants to eat my house.
Yeah,
It's so big.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think it's ever gonna stop growing.
I have a
That's it.
hackberry that big next to my house that my wife won't let me cut down. Anyway,
What kind, Chris?
a hackberry.
Oh, hackberry.
Yes.
I'm trying to get mine to grow faster. It's still
Yeah.
like spindly with two little branches coming out the top.
I've got a bunch of them I want to get rid of.
Well,
They come up like weeds in my yard.
well, it's probably just still growing its roots.
Yes. Yes. Make sure the deer aren't nibbling on it because the deer love them.
No, it's got the deer guard and all that. It's just,
Okay.
it's really tall and lanky. Yeah, I got it at the tree sale, like I guess what, 3 years ago?
Yeah,
Okay.
mine are top. One's
Oh,
much
wow,
better
gee,
than the other. It's
forgot
a
about
wetter
that.
spot, but the one that is in the middle of the yard is really tall and lanky as well. Hasn't grown much.
Can't get your money back.
Yeah, who do I talk to about that, Bob?
It's alive.
Bob, if you
That's a,
don't even get a tree, you can't get your money back.
That's right.
well, anyway, be kind to your trees this winter. Take a look at them. That's my advice.
Okay. I would like to thank everybody for joining us and have a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year.